Hey guys, it's Peace Daddy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. This is lesson number 3. We're working on card 3 from our whole series of lessons on mixtures and solutions. So we've done activity number 1. That was on mixtures. We've done activity number 2. That was on suspensions and solids. And now we're doing activity number 3. And the subject of activity number 3 is solutions. So in this activity, we're going to learn all about solutions. And I'm leaving the card up there if you want to stop the video and read over that for a little bit, you can. All right. So it says the materials that you need are a little bit of water, some salt. So we have our water here. We have a container of salt right there. A spoon, and I have a spoon right over here, a clear container with a lid, and here's my clear container with a lid. Any kind of clear container will work. And then I also have with me, I wanted to show this to you. This is called a graduated cylinder. Have you ever seen one of these? So it's a container that you can put liquid in. And the reason it's called a graduated cylinder is because, well, number one, it's in the shape of a cylinder, but it also has these gradations going along the cylinder. So as you get higher and higher and higher, the numbers get higher and higher and higher on the cylinder. And this one goes all the way up to 100 milliliters. So this is a graduated cylinder. And I think we're going to use this for our activity today. And I'm going to look at it, and it looks like we have about 66 milliliters of water in there. That we'll just keep that on standby. Okay, so it says put some salt in the container. So I'm going to open up my container here. Get my spoon, and this is probably a tablespoon, so I have about a half of a tablespoon of salt that I'm putting in there. And it says pour some water in the container. So I'm gonna fill it almost all the way up, but I've done this before, so I know to leave a little bit of space at the top. It says put the top on and shake. So we're gonna shake up our container. Just like that. And then it says, leave the container on the tray. What do you observe? So if you remember in experiment number 2, or activity number 2, when we were doing this, the liquid slowly got clear, and then down at the bottom, we noticed that there was something left over. There was a deposit that was happening. Now in this one, we don't see that. And if you do see a little bit of a deposit, then I would encourage you to shake it just a little more. All right? And you're gonna write a description of this as we do all activities. Write a description in your copybook of what you see. In your copybook on this one, you should have written that all I see is water. There's nothing at the bottom. It looks like the salt disappeared. Now, did the salt disappear? No, the salt did not disappear. The salt is still in there, but it's called being in solution. Okay, so let's read what the back of the card says. This is statement number 3 that goes along with card number 3. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera, and if you'd like to, you can pause it so you can take a minute to read it, but I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, it says the salt and the water seem to like each other so much that they become one. Sometimes when you put things together, one part disappears. If you add additional salt to a small amount of water, you will obtain a viscous state. So I could keep adding a little bit more salt to this to make it into a viscous state. But what I want to talk about is, remember when we did activity number 1 and we were separating the iron filings from the sand? Well, we had a way that we could do that. We used a magnet. If you'll remember, that was the tool that we used. When you have a solution, it's a little harder to get the pieces apart. When we had the sand and the iron filings, it was fairly easy if you know the right tool to use. So we knew that we could separate it pretty easily by using a magnet. But with the solution, it's a little bit harder. So that's what I'm going to leave you with, is I want you to be thinking about, what could I do? Because I know that there's salt in here and I know that there's water in there. What could I do to get them back apart again? And we'll talk about that one of the next times that I see you. Again, this was activity number 3 and a whole series of activities that I'm doing for mixtures and solutions. And you can gather these simple materials at home, and these are some things that you can do right at home with mom and dad helping you out and making sure that you're keeping good notes. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.